that's surprising, but it's sort of understandable. I think the real shock is when you find out that the government isn't going to help you, and that the government is not only not helping you, is only not prepared to deal with it environmentally, but that they actually thwart the public's concerns. And that's where the real sense of shock and betrayal comes from.
It says a lot about our culture to think that we would even take the gamble. We would even take the gamble to ruin our productive agricultural soil by putting a material that we, at best, I mean, I say we know a lot about. We know that it causes great harm. But even if there are doubts about it, why put it on the soil?
Across the industrialized world, the need to dispose of sludge and sewage waste takes precedence over public safety. The experience in Sweden brings home what this gamble means. There, they have made a direct connection between sewage sludge and public health. Gunnar Lindgren knows all too well the forces that prevent Maureen Riley's concerns from being redressed. His is the strong voice of the successful anti-sludge movement in Sweden.
Yeah, it's a huge problem. So if you have built a sewage plant, you will get sludge, and you get it 24 hours a day. And you have to get rid of it in any way, So it's a depressing situation for all the countries. When you're spreading sludge on the acres, the level of metals they are increasing very rapid. And the authorities know that, but they have to accept it because they want to get rid of the sludge. And sooner or later, you will come to a limit when you see severe problems. One could be that the copper, the copper metal, comes to a level where it is a poison for the soils and the organism in soil. And that means that you can't have agriculture any longer on these acres. And remember, it's forever, to the end of this planet, you can't help it because metal, you can't remove it from the acres. You can also find that whatever damage it causes, cancer, infections, or whatever, the authorities say that we have to accept it because we need to get rid of it. So they make a sort of discussion called risk-benefit analysis. And that means that even if there are risks, we need to get rid of it. So in many countries, it's no use to come to argument with a dead body and say this was killed of sludge. The authorities will say people are killed in traffic or whatever. We need to get rid of the sludge. That's the main thing.
At his home on the Baltic, Swedish engineer Carl Lindström describes how the sludge story unfolded and came to a head for the Swedes.
But the policy was very much pro-sludge spreading, and I think there wasn't much alternatives. You could burn sludge and create air pollution, which wasn't much better. Or you could dump it in the ocean, and that was obviously stopped too for good reasons. And then there was a particular event where they found flame retardants in the sludge, which came from both small and big treatment plants, and that was associated with cancer, a special kind of cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Eminent Swedish oncologist Lennart Hardell.
We picked out this disease because very much of our research has been on non-Hodgkin lymphoma, which is some kind of lymph node disease, which is malignant. And then we knew about the brominated flame retardants, that they are quite similar as PCB, so we had a suspicion that we could probably find brominated flame retardants in our cancer patients too, which was actually the case. And then the research team up in Umeå, where the environmental chemists work, who do this type of analysis for us, they went on to analyze food, and we did find that there were brominated flame retardants in different types of food. The concentration in mother's milk is increasing. We have historical batches in Sweden from early 1970s, and at that time there were very low concentrations, and now the curve is going straight up, and the concentration is doubling every 6th year in mother's milk of brominated flame retardants. We also pointed to the fact that this was found in human beings, this is found in food, this is probably a cancer risk, and this can also be found in the sludge, sewage sludge, which is spread over the farmland, and we questioned if this is really should be done in the future, and we discussed the probability that it could go into the food chain through the sludge.
Public reaction to these findings was strong enough to influence food producers. The Swedish National Farmers Association put a ban on the spreading of sludge on Swedish agricultural land. This was not government legislated, but driven by the sheer economic power of the consumer. In the short term, the Swedes are landfilling their sludge in non-critical areas such as motorways. Both the Netherlands and Belgium have long since banned spreading sewage sludge on their agricultural land because of concerns of chemical uptake into the food chain. In Canada, a sludge sample taken from Toronto's Ashbridges Bay sewage treatment plant reveals higher levels of bromide flame retardants than those found in European sludges.
When you find chemicals such as these flame retardants, you know that that is just the tip of the iceberg, because there are so many things that they are not looking for at the present time.
You can call it a mirror. So if you have a poison somewhere in an industry, you will have the poison in the sludge. If you are using color for your hair, you will have it in the sludge, and so on. So it's a sort of basket of all the bad things.
If you say that broccoli is a healthy vegetable, the next question is, of course, where is that broccoli coming from? What is it grown on? And you can see that broccoli grown on one soil can be very good for you, and if it contains heavy metals, it can be very bad for you. So I think by focusing attention on what we eat, you have to go deeper and deeper into the question of what is actually in that food.
Welcome to Edmonton's $100 million state-of-the-art waste facility.